To Zoom screen. Yeah, that's nice. We just need the thumbs up from the Victoria's.
Oh, how's the angles here? Oh, good. Fabulous.
Yeah.
Cameras are built into the screens?
Oh, it's built into this
Oh,
creepy little
okay.
owl thing.
Trying to connect.
Okay.
Look, it's Inception. I can see myself there and on the middle one.
It looks like it's recording the video, but maybe not live. Let's see.
Oh, great.
Presentation line. You try settings, let me just go to settings too. Calendar, video. Roll camera, back presentation.
That almost seems like you're in the wrong meeting.
Think so?
I mean, I don't know. That looks a little bit like Zoom, but
All right, so I guess we can start with it because it's not doing anything on YouTube.
Okay. As long as we capture it on the.
Yeah, that's fine.
Then we can see if this works with the sound.
Okay.
It looks like it's recording. And we upload it to that, upload to it.
We'll see, it's been recording for 2 minutes.
All right, we are ready to start the meeting. It is 5:43 p.m. and I'd like to call the meeting to order. A reminder to everyone, please silence your cell phone. And we just need to clearly end one at a time since we have our new technology. So first order of business, approval of the minutes from May 7th. Do we have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from Wednesday, May 7th.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes approved. All right, next up we have public comments. So do we have anybody here to speak? Okay. So public comments are closed. Do we have any introductions?
Yeah.
For tonight? Okay, let's do
Yeah,
that.
well, I wanted to first introduce our, she's from our attorney's office. Her name is Taylor Simon.
Hello.
She's our attorney, she's representing us for the Public Arts Board.
Taylor Simon.
Thanks for being here.
And she's from the Bose Law Firm.
Just with who?
Bose, B-O-S-E,
Oh,
Law Firm.
oh, okay. I thought you said
Okay.
Vogue.
That's our new city attorney law firm.
Taylor, I'm sorry, what was the last name? Simon, Simonds.
For Simons. Oh,
Okay, so your first item tonight.
No, we didn't.
Sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
Yeah, for the roll call, so everyone is present for roll call. Everyone from the board is present.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes.
so do we need to add that into our,
we can, nobody don't do the roll call, I just mark everybody in.
That works.
and we make sure we have a quorum?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just has to be set up.
Okay,
Okay.
all right,
And we'll do that moving forward.
Okay.
okay. So for the staff report,
Yeah, so the first item that you have on the agenda tonight is the city council work session on Monday, June 23rd. And this is a request for either the chair or the vice chair to speak to the city council. So this is going before the city council, and this came before as a result of the Public Arts Board. So on April 16, 2025, Public Arts Board passed a motion to request the city council to grant the board the authority to make purchases below a specified threshold without the city council approval. So this was brought up at the April 16th, and it was also brought up on May 7th. So you'll see the staff report before you tonight. With the agenda memorandum that's going to the city council. Is dated June 23rd.
Okay,
Do you have one?
have that, no.
It's this one. That one is June 23rd. Yeah, that one is the city council staff report
Mhm.
that's going before the city council. So this is something that the Public Arts Board will need to appoint either the chair or vice chair to speak on behalf of the Public Arts Board. So we will need that in the form of a motion tonight.
Okay,
And we're not quite sure which way the council is gonna go. We're gonna really depend on whoever is speaking on behalf of the board to make that presentation and justify why. And I will tell you that if it is granted, it would be the first board to ever be granted that authority. Staff does have some concerns, especially the finance department, on whether or not it will set a precedent with other boards requesting the same approval authority. So just to let you know, there may be some hesitation from staff, a reservation from staff.
I have a question. Would the example be made of us trying to just minor purchases? Like the whole reason for this was because of purchasing postcards and getting quotes for smaller, not like huge purchase items, but incorporating that so that they have a better understanding of, what we were looking at. The reason why this came up in discussion with our board.
So if that's the case, then it wouldn't be a bad thing as a pitch to the council. It wouldn't be a bad thing that we were having the ability to spend money over, low threshold for common sense things to not go to them, kind of almost micromanaging, relieving them of having to sweat, $100. So if it is a precedent, it might not be bad.
okay, content aside, I'm not going to be in town. So are you available?
Okay. So it says at 5:30 on Monday. Is it at 5:30 or is this like?
I'm not quite sure where you are on the agenda.
Mhm.
There may be a number of items on the agenda, so I'm not quite sure where you fall.
Okay.
And who knows how long it's gonna take to discuss each one of those items. So I would just show up at 5:30.
Okay.
Bring a book.
Okay. Yeah, I'm supposed to have an art class at like 6:15, but if I can't make it, that's okay.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
No, it's fine. I have class to go to at 6:15, but if I can't go, it's not a big deal. I'll just cry myself to sleep.
So we'll need a motion.
So we have a motion to approve Jillian as the speaker to the city council.
Wait, is there any conflict being that one of the people on the board is my sister? Well, you were, approved to be on this board and you were elected to be. Right, I just want to make sure there's no like.
That's a good question.
It'd be for her to decide, not for you.
Good point.
I'll look into that and I'll get you an answer.
Okay, so then, if there is a conflict, which I don't know if there may be, you may want to appoint an alternative. as
Yeah.
well.
Okay.
So you could do the motion with an alternative if there is a conflict.
Okay. Do we have any volunteers for an alternate?
Isn't there an express request for chair or vice chair?
That was just
Yes.
to have one of them, but if she can't make it, then you can choose an alternative.
As long as the board agrees to it, as long as it's an assumption.
So our options are to have an alternate that is not the chair or vice chair, or we would have to say that we couldn't do it if there's a conflict.
Yeah, or Natalie could excuse herself from voting on it, which she has done before.
Okay.
So I guess that could also be the option.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
So then do we need a motion for me to speak,
Yes.
And we still need an alternative.
just in case?
Just in case, yeah.
So if anybody wanna volunteer? Helen, Walter?
I don't really feel qualified to, because I don't know the issues well enough to.
Okay.
And I'm a newbie, so.
I'm a newbie as well. Lisa, since you know the history of the postcards, would.
I seriously, I think, I totally get it, but, I honestly, I don't have my phone with me. So I don't know what my schedule is like. I'm being very honest right now. So
Okay.
unfortunately, in my haste, I left my phone.
Okay.
I'll be there.
Okay, so we could go forward with a motion to approve Jillian to speak to the council. Lisa, would you be able to check out of the meeting? Would you be able to check your availability and share it with Dahlia if you could be,
You mean after the meeting or
after this meeting today?
I can check and see.
Okay.
Well, here's a question I have. So we just have this ambiguous or non-stated threshold. Have we ever discussed a number? So I can't imagine me going to them and saying, well, we want this number. We don't know what the number is.
Well, we
You know, we
discussed
wanted to
it.
buy some postcards. You know, it's just too
Yeah.
mushy for me to wrap my head around it, to explain it to people who I know them.
Right. We discussed it a couple times and then I think we said they can pick the number,
Yeah,
Okay,
which,
I think that's appropriate.
okay, so that's, okay. Very good.
But if not, we need something,
Like,
you know,
yes, an
Yeah.
example of what brought this up. We were buying postcards.
yeah.
we were trying to
They
raise
cost how
funds.
much money?
Yeah. Because we wanted to sell the postcards at the 100th year.
Yeah.
And then we couldn't because we weren't able to buy them because we would need to go through the motions of getting on the agenda, then getting approval.
So that's a good example,
Mhm.
one example.
Yeah.
Well, this memorandum, it does say to approve purchases below a specified threshold without requiring city council approval. So that does say that we would be going in with a threshold.
Right. But I think Helen was saying, like, are we going to say under $500 or like under $100, you know, or under $1 million? Like, there's a big range of
There's a big range.
some number.
Keith?
Yeah, we're asking for a threshold. We don't have to say what it is. I think that's best for them to determine, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And in regards to the possible conflict question, Jillian, you're not going there on your own behalf. You're going there to represent us as a board.
Right.
And in that regard, any decision of the board that goes to the council it's a board decision. It's not just from you. So,
That's true.
And they approved you.
yeah.
They did.
However, we're not the attorney. We're making your case. We don't know what we're talking about.
I don't want to give you an answer right now. Just
Yeah.
to be sure, but I'll get that probably by the end of this week.
Okay. Sounds good. Does anybody know how much the postcards were?
I can send it to you.
Okay.
I can send
Just
it.
so I can say.
So we have an example.
Yeah, just so we have.
For example, we were trying to.
Right.
Mhm. Okay,
So who made the
I'm just
motion?
gonna make the motion, yeah.
I will. I move that the vice chair, represents the board at the meeting, what meeting is it? The July, Monday?
July 23rd.
July.
June.
Oh, June 23rd.
On June
Yeah.
23rd,
This month.
session, to talk about a threshold of petty cash really.
And do you want to say appoint Ms. McCoy as an alternative if she's able to make it?
Yes, I do want to say that, if she's able to.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion passed.
Thank you.
I have a quick question. We said this was a work session, not a meeting.
It's a
So,
work session.
so they work differently than council meetings?
They do, they're not at the dais like they normally are, they're
Okay.
on the floor. They're all at a table like this, and you get to sit up at the table and, just make your request.
Okay,
And they discuss it, it's the same people, just a different setup.
okay, cool.
Okay, next topic.
The next topic is, this is also going to city council. You have this agenda memorandum before you. And this is an appointment for Dr. Deborah Bauer, to the Public Arts Board. And she's representing the Seminole Cultural Arts Council. She will be appointed to the board as a non-voting member. And today as part of the ordinance 1660 that created the board, it states that the city council may accept a nomination from the Seminole Cultural Arts Council for an ex officio non-voting member and appoint such a member in its discretion. And so we have a nomination from Seminole Cultural Arts Council to appoint Dr. Deborah Bauer to the Public Arts Board. And in that staff memo, you'll see her background. She's a historian with a focus on Florida history. She brings an array of expertise and community involvement to the role. She currently serves as a part-time faculty member at Valencia College in Orlando, where her passion for history, she shares a passion for history with students. She holds a doctoral degree in history from the University of South Florida, as well as 2 master's degrees from the University of North Florida and University of Central Florida. So she's scheduled for the July 7th meeting to be appointed to the Public Arts Board. So it's just information
Awesome.
for the
I
board.
think that's a great idea.
It says she's the executive director of the Seminole Cultural Arts Council.
Mhm. Yeah, Teresa saw her at the conference that she went to. And was like, oh, you should be on our board, because the ordinance says you should be.
And she was like, okay, okay, great.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. So she's gonna be appointed on July 7th.
Okay, do we need to take any action from that, or that's just information?
It's just information,
Okay,
just to let you know. And then I also have, we removed the call to artists. Actually, the call to artists for the murals and the sculpture, you have that as well on your table. And I'm just gonna briefly go over this. Teresa, in the minutes from before, you all made some motions on what you wanted to see in the call to artists. So this has been updated based on what you all have originally discussed. But Teresa was also gonna add some information in here from her conference. So she hasn't had a chance to do that yet, some of the things that she learned from the conference. And also, we wanted to get Dr. Bauer's input on it as well, because we think she may bring some great ideas to the call to artists. But basically, what we've added to the call to artists so far for the mural at Center Lake, you'll see that you'll see the stripe through an underline. It looks like the project theme was never changed, so that's still 100th anniversary of the city and beyond. The project budget was changed it looks like the design and execution is instead of 2,000, 3,000. Material, equipment, and budget is instead of 5,000, 4,000. And then under eligibility on the second page, what changed was, we added language that says artists must use durable outdoor appropriate paint and sealant. And then the submission window was for 30 days. So those are the only changes to that. We're gonna discuss this at the next meeting as well, so that Teresa and Dr. Bauer can provide input on the call to artists for the mural as well as the sculpture. The sculpture, which is the next item, the only thing that changed from this was on the second page, you all wanted the window open for not just local artists, but for any artist, all artists. So we removed the local artists. So you'll see that thing flipping through. And then the submission window, in the minutes, it says between 30 to 60 days. So I just put 60 days. So if you all want to take a look at this between now and the next meeting, that would be great. So we're just,
One question about the sculpture. It says the artist stipend for design and execution is 25,000 period. Should we also say up to?
up to 25? Okay.
Because if I remember right, we had discussion about that we,
We kept going back and forth on
Yeah,
that.
because the minutes, if you look at the minutes of the last meeting, which was the May 7th, it looks like the sculpture,
Maybe that's a good question for Dr. Bauer.
yeah, you all may want to take a look at it. It says, 25 to 35,000. You did have a range, 25,000 to 35,000, which would include the design, fabrication, installation, and lighting, and it all adds up to about the same amount. So 25, that's 30 plus 3,000, then 2,000 for the plaque, which is like 35,000.
Mhm.
So within that range.
I would ask if we have an up to that's saying that something might make less, how would we determine that?
I think they would propose that based on, like, I would think if it were me, based on what I'm designing, what I'm creating,
Okay, so
cost,
then they
what
could
have you,
try,
I would
okay.
say, I suggest this at this cost up to.
I can see the installation and lighting being, like, I would think that's a fee, but you're right, maybe they would think they had an advantage if they made a lower bid, that's the only thing I can think of.
So part of the application requirements is a projected budget and payment schedule. So the artist is being asked to provide a budget of what that amount would be.
And that could be, I just think that as I'm reading what's stated here, it looks to me that regardless of what they're going to do, it will be 25,000. And I don't remember us landing on that. I thought we were talking up to.
I'm just reading the minutes, it just gives a range between 25,000 and 35, which would include design, fabrication, installation, lighting, and the plaque. So however the board wants to decide, if you want to wait until Dr. Bauer comes, you all can ask her.
Do we need any discussion, or are you all good with it as it stands?
I think we have to discuss it with her anyways, because she's gonna be appointed by the next meeting and we're not voting on this till then, so probably makes no sense just to wait.
And this would be setting a precedent, we would have a format for how to do this in the future.
Mhm.
I mean, we could.
So it sounds like we're saying that we are going to discuss this when we have Dr. Korea and Bauer to give their final suggested edits, and we have a chance, we're gonna need to go through this and then approve the motion to present as it is. Okay.
So take a look at it, if you all like any changes done to it in between now and then, let us know. Otherwise, when, next month comes, we'll discuss it again with Dr. Bauer and Dr. Green.
Sounds good.
And the last item is the request for the Public Arts Board members assistance with promoting the Granville exhibition. And this is just asking the board if you all can help her with the networking. I don't know if you all have any connections. If you do, it would be great to include her pieces into whatever you all.
I had sent that out to see, because she was asking if you guys were interested, and she would sign off on it. I put your name on there already.
Can you send me that again? One thing we could do is we could put that, on the Facebook page, the Oviedo Facebook page.
I think, Lisa, our communication specialist, she put it on our.
But yeah, we could do it on the, the Oviedo, my son-in-law has something to do with that.
He's like an administrator.
Yeah, he's the administrator of it, so he can do that. And I know that gets a lot of people.
Yeah, they pushed it, to some newspaper in Osceola County this time. There was a lot of, she pushed it to a lot of different places.
Yeah, I'll make sure it gets on that.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Is there a good post that they've already made that's like pictures of it being in chambers or
I think Lisa put that on Facebook, an hour.
on, on me, okay.
When it opens.
You send it to him.
Has she had any sales yet? No? Okay.
All right, there was a place that, either something that we used, or I was thinking of using, and it's just not coming to.
Has anybody reached out to the church? Since that is one of the images that is still
Oh, the Methodist
still
church.
standing, yes.
Yeah,
You'd think there'd be people in the church that would be interested.
that's a good
The
idea.
Lawton House.
I was also thinking, well, that's where the Historical Society is headquartered, but also the Judah, their corporate office is there, and they were the primary agriculture in Nelson and Company. These are very much a part of, the families that have been here for, since the 1920s or the 30s. So
I have no church connections, but maybe they would be interested if we could communicate with the Oviedo city limit churches.
Send it out to the local news.
But certainly the
Sounds
Methodist
good.
church, that was a great idea.
Yeah.
Channel 6 that did
They're
the
in there.
Yeah.
segment on us for our 100th anniversary. Might they be interested in?
And do that must have.
She reached out to them, and in her email, she asked if
I would think.
they want to interview
Lisa.
her to let us know. so
Judah
that we
needs
can
all
open
those
up
for
the
their
chambers
offices.
so she can come in
That's what I
and
agree.
interview with whatever local news wants to interview her.
Well, Luca too. Helen brought up a good point. I'm sure Lisa has connections at Judah.
I have to look, it was a list of people that she included. I
can't-
have to go back and see who, because there was a lot of people that she attached to that email.
Okay, and Nelson and Company, I would be quite surprised.
Could you forward that email to all of us so that if we think of anyone, we can pass it along? Oh, great, thanks. You okay?
way of contacting Duda? Did the company have an email that they would actually look at?
They have a communications person, a head of communications. So
I'm gonna call them,
I think it's Donna Duda or Donna. I don't know what her
whatever.
former married name is, but
I'm gonna
if you
see
go
that.
on their
Because I think
website,
that they actually would be interested in these, and she might even get sales.
yeah.
The same thing actually with the Wheelers.
They've been here for years.
Oh, yeah,
Another one would be Axel,
yeah.
because they're the ones that are developing everything. And they work with Nelson and Company, the folks on developing everything. I want to call it Meat World. Some of us who remember Meat World.
Oh, yeah.
But,
How about that?
so, but yeah, so that area. So where Solari's Wharf is and that whole area, that's going to be all apartments, right? Yeah, so that they're the ones that are completely behind all that. So they should have these hanging up, and they can afford it. I'd like to point that out.
I'm gonna see if I can track down contacts of those three, Axel, Nelson's, and Duda.
We
I don't
don't
think
think
that's-
contact with Axel.
Axel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just him, not the developer, just his. He's got plenty of them, so.
That's all I have.
Okay. All right, do we have any new discussion items for tonight?
I have, just something to, for discussion, just to, see if anybody else would want to bring this up or see how we can incorporate this in some of the art, artwork that we want to support is wraps or, painting. Usually they're done in wraps of electric boxes around town. And working with artists, that's another form, and it's not very expensive to do. And I'm sure Teresa probably learned what is more durable. If it's the wraps because of the, the elements, or the painting. I'm not really 100% sure. I'm presuming the wraps maybe, but I'm not. But I'm just bringing that up as another idea, because a lot of cities, I think everybody's noticed it. So
I didn't realize they wrapped them. I always thought they painted them.
I've seen wraps.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Are you talking about like AT&T old boxes?
Well, yeah, you see at AT&T,
Those utility boxes.
their
Yeah.
utility.
Yeah.
The ones that are on like the corners.
That are abandoned or still in use?
No, they're still in use.
So
The
they're
one
owned-
over on
they're owned
Chesapeake.
by, whoever, let's say AT&T. And AT&T, they don't mind you wrapping them?
I think it's kind of a normal, I think you'd have to get some type of approval,
I think it's an
obviously.
agreement you have to sign with the utility company. It's not necessarily AT&T, sometimes it's like Duke. or-
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's an agreement you have to have in place with them.
Okay.
Julie talked about that, and Sanford was doing that.
Yes, they have several.
Yeah.
I love seeing those.
I want
Mhm.
to see.
They're always like really
Wheeler
fun and
Tower.
silly, and they're just like really vibrant.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
The Wheeler Water Tower.
Exactly.
We should put a chicken.
I was just thinking there could be chickens all over the city on these utility boxes, but everyone knows how much I like chickens, so I didn't trust them.
Things are taking over.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Or find the chicken,
Mm, be
you
good.
know?
Oh yeah, like a
find-
hidden chicken.
the hidden chicken, like thrashing, or what is it called, hashing, or whatever those people
Geocaching?
geocaching,
Oh,
yeah.
geocaching, yeah.
Because they do them here. I see them
Mhm.
around town.
Oh, yeah, they're everywhere.
So, but just another idea. And then just an FYI, I will be gone until September. So
Going somewhere fun?
Well, wait, if you're gonna be gone until September, then you definitely can't do the board meeting.
It's on Monday.
Oh, that's this.
no, I leave. It's this month. That board meeting is
Okay.
this month,
Yeah, it's Monday.
Oh,
right?
so you'll be gone July.
Right.
Okay. August.
I leave. I'm pretty sure July 10th. So,
July 10th till September.
right. Probably like September 10th.
So you will still get my emails.
Of course I will. And I can still respond and I can still listen to our meetings, but I cannot vote, correct? So I'm happy to participate on that level.
Okay, so as far as the new discussion item for RAPS, is there any action or research that we want to do following tonight's meeting to learn anything more about those?
I think the first thing she brought up was figuring out which one's more durable, right? If the wraps or the painting is.
I really think, I find it hard to believe, I mean, Teresa doesn't have any information from the Florida Public Arts Association, because so many of those, everybody does those. So that's what I'm just wondering, or she can reach out to in the forum and just ask. Because that's what people do. They throw out a question and then boom, 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 you get a ton of responses. So, I mean, I can do it, but she just went to the conference and I think it's kind of probably a good idea since for her to at least throw it out there.
Can we request that Teresa research the possibility and give us some information?
Do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you need a motion?
I think just the consensus is fine with that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are we all aligned to ask Teresa?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No harm in asking.
And just to let you know, like when I provided those examples for, what was it? I'm sorry. I just basically put together, all the responses from, the emails. So it's just very easy just to pull that information and just, for us to have it for a meeting. So I forget what it was. It was something that I was researching,
I
but,
think it was
yeah,
the percentage people were getting
right.
for their art sports,
Exactly.
their
Yeah.
art fund, not for the board.
Right.
For us.
Okay. Any other new topics?
I do have one more. If we can find out what she says about what the state reducing, controlling what local government can do as far as developer funds for public art. Remember, they were trying to pass that at a state level when they were in session. And I'm sure that was a huge hot topic of discussion at that conference. So she probably will have the most updated information.
Okay.
I think that's something that's very pertinent to all of us. I mean, yeah, because that's been our huge revenue vein for, besides the CRAs.
Mhm.
And I think they're trying to get involved in that too. So,
Is there any update on the called artist for the logo? Was that already brought to the board?
It was taken to city council for their approval on, the logo. This is the cup.
Yes, the cup.
Yeah. It was taken to city council on Monday night, this past Monday.
Oh, okay.
Patrick did it before the city council for their approval to do the request for proposal.
So did
Request to call to artists.
they request the call to artists?
I'm not quite sure if it has been published or not, I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, did they approve it?
They did
It was
it,
passed.
And did they approve it at the $1,000?
I don't have the memo.
Okay.
We can send you guys the memos.
Yeah, I'm just curious as to what happened.
Yeah, we can send it to you.
Okay.
I'll send you the memo.
Cool.
Any other topics for tonight?
I do. I would like us to remember, to remind ourselves that for the next, Art in the Chambers, to be thinking about that in advance, especially if we're going to be asking the high schools. So that we can contact them very early in the school year, so they can be prepared, I would think, for the spring term. I think the high schools would be most interested. I don't think you have my gut, do you? Would be the best time after the
I think
schools
it's a
have
really
had, the
good-
kids have had instruction and time to develop work and so forth. But to do that, I think we have to be in contact with the schools in September or August or whenever they start.
Yeah.
Even for the January, so just to think ahead on that.
Any other topics? Okay, if not, cover off future meeting dates. They are on our sheet, July 16, August 20, September 17, and our future meetings will be here instead of at City Hall.
Right.
Okay. Let's see, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, meeting is